Welcome to Talks with Teads. My name is Henner Blömer. I'm the Global VP for Automotive at Teads, and we're at the New York Auto Show today. And with me is Rachael Zaluzec from Volkswagen. She's the CMO, Senior Vice President of Customer Experience and Brand Marketing. Is that right?
That is correct.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you
It's a
for
busy day
having me,
at
yes.
the New York Auto Show. EVs and digital experiences become more crucial for automotive marketing. And how is your marketing strategy evolving to meet the customers' expectations and goals and sentiment around that?
So, particularly in the US, what we found is that our vehicles, we've put so much technology in them, right? And technology in our vehicles, they can be intimidating. And what we want to make sure is that we're welcoming and that we're making our vehicles approachable, right? So what we've done with our marketing is we've really turned to education with them. And our vehicles, particularly, for example, an ID4, could not only be somebody's first electric vehicle, but when you consider that our all-electric ID4, which is assembled in our Chattanooga plant in Tennessee, could also be their first German-engineered vehicle.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of new for our
Yeah.
customers. So because of that, we want to make sure we're educating them about EV, we're educating them about German engineering, and doing that through the marketing, it helps bring them into technology. It helps bring them into things in a very human, approachable way. And that is how we bring them into technology. That's how we bring them into engineering, but doing so in an educational, fun Volkswagen way.
So you talked about proximity to customers and to pull them into the car to experience the technology. From a communication point of view, with connected car technologies and also driving assist systems, it's a very difficult word for me in English. How do you ensure that the marketing meets the customer expectations here as well, and not overwhelming them with technical features? So because it's about driving and driving pleasure as well. Exactly,
and the answer to that is very similar to really the last question. It's about making it human, right, and making it understandable. A really good example of that is actually something that we just did last year in marketing for the model year 25 Atlas, and really talking about how do we explain, for example, our IQ Drive features and the ADAS systems that we have. An example of that with the Atlas is the front assist systems, right? Where we have, with the Atlas, the vehicle can detect, it can detect things in advance. Now, how can you quickly say that the vehicle scans for threats every 20 milliseconds?
Yeah.
That means nothing to the average person, right?
No,
if you were going to put that in
really.
marketing.
Yeah.
But you want to find a creative way to put that out there.
Yeah.
So what we did in the commercial and the advertising, we hid a very, very silly thing in the ad. And we said, did you see that? Well, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
But if you were an Atlas with front assist, you would have seen it in 0.02 seconds, right? And then we showed the spot in slow motion and showed them the ad. So basically it's saying, if you were as quick, if you were as good as an Atlas with front assist, and explain the feature to them that way.
Okay.
Right? So found a unique way to talk about how quick front assist works and how quick it worked in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So a different way to show the feature, a different way of explaining how quickly it works, and then tested the advertising as well to show that consumers understood it. It was a cheeky way of explaining it working in a humanized way rather than saying something, scans for a threat in 20 times in a second. Right?
And it's a very creative way of doing it, right?
Exactly.
So it's in a way also entertaining, which opens perception, consideration of things which you have in the spot. Right?
Rather than making it scary and intimidating,
Yeah.
it was fun, humorous, and again, a human way of talking about something that is otherwise a little bit difficult to understand.
Yeah, that's right. So Rachel, how is VW using real-time data and insights to shape more personalized experiences for consumers and relevant campaigns, especially when the younger generations change the way they engage with brands?
Absolutely. And so really what we're doing for those insights is not only to find audiences, but to match up those audience and insights to tell our stories. So a really good example of that is actually the campaign that we recently did in a partnership with NBC Universal and Saturday Night Live. So we used our insights to really study and find out that the Volkswagen target market in the US and the Saturday Night Live target audience were very, very similar.
Okay.
So based upon that, we set up a partnership with NBC Universal. And through that partnership, actually built out a creative campaign that highlighted Saturday Night Live and with that partnership. Actually, here in the auto show, you can see it.
Yeah, I saw
you,
that.
You see a bit of the creative, where we had custom creative content with the Saturday Night Live characters and put that creative out there with ID Buzz.
Okay.
Not only did that campaign then run in Saturday Night Live episodes on NBC, but using those insights, knowing that our younger audiences consume media differently, we put it in social, we put it in TikTok, we put it in YouTube. So we use the insights to find out where our audience are, but then also where they consume that information as well. So the content and the channels all came from those insights.
Yeah, and it has to be integrated, right, to be effective.
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah, of course. And then talking about the consumers again, right? Nowadays people engage with content across multiple screens and formats. You just touched about social media, for example. How do you maintain message consistency across the channels while adapting to each platform's specifics?
Well, with a brand like Volkswagen, particularly in the U.S., where we are the OEM, we're the manufacturer, but we also have a large dealer network footprint, right? We have over 630 dealers in the U.S., so consistency is key.
Yeah.
So not only do we have to have a set of brand standards where we're messaging about the brand to all of our consumers around the U.S., so we have a set of standards of who is the brand, what does the brand look like, how do we show up, right, in places like auto shows, in places like television, in places like websites, but then also making sure our dealers have a clear understanding of who is the brand, what does the brand stand for, how do we show up, what type of messages should they use in linear, in digital, how should they show up in their dealerships, making sure those standards are there, but then also giving them the flexibility of a messaging perspective across all of those different platforms. Okay. So that's where you there's a little bit of balance that you have to have of protecting the brand, having the brand show up, but also giving the dealerships the flexibility of their own personalities in the space that you need.
Yeah, then it's more effective, right? If it's in the context of the overall brand positioning, the brand messaging, then it's very effective in the market. Yeah, and with 650 dealers, of course.
Yes. There's a little bit of push-pull there, but you always have to have it as well. They are partners.
Okay, cool. So my last question would be, looking ahead, it's always the last question, of course. How are emerging technologies like augmented reality, like VR and so on, shaping the way Volkswagen approaches storytelling, the futures, and everything around brand experience, etc.?
Let's talk first about maybe how our customers experience it, because yes, I am how the brand shows up in marketing, but I also do have responsibility for customer experience. And some of my favorite brand storytelling moments are actually how the customers experience the brand once they're with us, right? Once they're owners. And not only do they experience the vehicle when they're in it, but they also experience the brand in our brand app, our MyVW app. And customers often have questions about the brand. And there are multiple ways that they can find answers. They can call us, they can go to a website, but some of the work that the team has done, which is so incredible in our partnership with Google, is working to integrate AI through a virtual assistant in the MyVW app.
Yeah.
And what they can do is literally go to the MyVW app and query the virtual assistant. It goes through libraries of information that we curate and have available through Volkswagen to answer their questions 24/7. They have it available. And it's not just simply questions and answers. There's also visually generated information available. For example, in a dash, right?
Yeah.
There are all types of indicators that could be available.
Yeah.
And we're in automotive, right? We know what indicators are, but it's a language all to its own, right? You need a decoder ring if you don't actually work in the automotive industry. So what you can do with the MyVW app is literally take your phone, scan the dashboard and an indicator, and the app will tell you what it means. So you don't have to go to an owner's manual. You don't have to call somebody. You don't have to go to a dealership to say, oh, does that talk about what gear my vehicle is in? Does that talk about a temperature gauge or something else? Literally, the app will tell you. So it again de-escalates things, gives people more information, makes them more comfortable in their vehicle. So that's how we're looking to the future, to make things more convenient, more accessible for our drivers, and really make them feel like they're part of.
And by that, you do also have more interactions with the customers, right?
Exactly.
They're not just driving the car, but they have interaction with the brand and some more extended experience.
Exactly, makes them feel part of the experience.
Perfect. Rachel, thank you very much for your time today. It's a very busy day.
Thank you.
And hope to speak soon. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.